Hello and welcome back to the Crictime Podcast. It's your host, Mohammed Salija, back again. It's been a long time since we've uploaded an episode. It's been a few weeks, but again, we are back and we want to discuss a lot of things. And obviously, यार जो आज का match हुआ है India Pakistan के बीच में, I think it's never gotten any closer than that. But before we get into those discussions and talks about India Pakistan as well as the World Cup, which has kicked off a few days ago, I'm joined by Crick Kaushik. You might know him from Twitter. He's a byline at the One Cricket app. So, Kaushik, welcome to the podcast. Firstly, if you can introduce yourself and just tell us how you're feeling after that amazing game today.
Yeah, hello. Very, very good to join here to talk about such a big game today. बहुत ही मजा आया and especially the way Virat played from such a situation and जिस तरह India जीती, it was surreal. So yeah.
Yes, obviously India Pakistan, we don't need to sit here and hype it up. We all know what it means and what the rivalry is, irrespective of how people look at it around the world. But it's one of the greatest rivalries. MCG 80,000, lineups में जब anthems हो रही थी, so you could see the emotions in Hardik Pandya in Rohit Sharma as well as the Pakistani players for their own national anthem. But yes, game शुरुआत हुई, India toss जीती. It was nice for a change कि India toss जीती because we haven't seen that happen a lot, and India have generally struggled trying to win the toss. I know उसमें कोई skill नहीं लगती है, toss by 50-50 है, anyone can win it, but Kaushik, your quick thoughts on the game just before we dive into it individually. Just a bit about what you thought of the Indian bowling and then the Indian batting and as well as the Pakistan team.
It was. I was expecting India to start well when they won the toss and decided to bowl. I thought that it's going to be very difficult for the Pakistan team. I was thinking about 130, 140 total when they won the toss and decided to bowl. And I knew that our guys, our pace attack, our bowlers, they will use the most of the power play, most of the new ball. And it was swinging hard. It was swinging. It got pace, bounce, movement. Everything was there. It was a very, very. It was such a treat to watch. Means this is my first game I'm watching because of the how hectic I have been with my scheduling. So this is the first game, and today it was Sunday. I was traveling, and I didn't want to miss the bowling because I was expecting some fireworks with the ball. So वो वही हुआ, and Pakistan recovered well. They counter attacked. They recovered well, and it was pretty much similar, I guess, with India and Pakistan. Both the batting team were similar throughout the innings. They started slowly. They lost wickets early on, and फिर middle overs में counter attacks हुए. फिर then again there was a patch where it slowed down. So, but it finished well for both the teams, and India was brilliant with the bat at the end.
Honestly, पहली बात तो वो जो बिल्डअप जो गेम का था वो ऑब्वियसली इंडिया पाकिस्तान का बिल्डअप है बड़ा जबरदस्त, बट वो बारिश का एक वो था that rain, we were all praying कि यार India Pakistan doesn't usually happen very often. We've been lucky to watch it twice already this in the Asia Cup. So everyone was just wishing कि बारिश ना हो जाए and that game goes on. But starting out with the Indian bowling, I want to point out the incredible bowling attack that we had today. And I think with Jasprit Bumrah missing, India always goes to games, I guess, a man down because of how crucial Jasprit Bumrah has become in the short, not just in the short format, but more regularly in the short format, I guess, in terms of his bowling. But Mohammad Shami, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Arshdeep Singh, obviously these three pacers that we had, and then Hardik Pandya, and so we had six bowling options, and that is what gave us the edge over Pakistan, is what I thought. Asia Cup, maybe we've seen Pakistan struggle in that, and in my opinion, because they usually like to have, well, I guess 3 pacers and then a proper spinner and then an all-round spinner. And when you've got only 5 bowlers in the team, you need to bowl out every single bowler, and that's what happened. When you needed 15 runs to defend in the last over, you can't expect a spinner Nawaz to do it. He should have been bowling way earlier in the pitch. But when I was watching Mohammad Shami bowl, I think that was the first over I watched. I missed the first few overs of the game, but when I saw Shami and Arshdeep ball, I was like, यार अगर ये लोग इतनी swing करा रहे हैं तो शाहीन शाह, नसीम शाह तो वो तो एक pitch से दूसरी pitch swing कराएंगे. So वो थोड़ा एक, it was one of those moments where I was like, well, will the Indian batsmen be able to survive it or not? But thankfully we were able to, even though the starting was not great. But how crucial do you think was getting out Mohammad Rizwan and Babar Azam early? We've seen what they can do last 2020 World Cup. I mean, a year from the day you guys are watching this, we had the India-Pakistan match in the last year's T20 World Cup, and we saw what they did as an opening pair and what they chased down. And then against England as well, that 200-run stand between the two players. So, Kaushik, what's the situation with Babar Azam and Rizwan and the crucial wickets that we got over there?
Yeah, it was that pair was very crucial for Pakistan. As we speak always about this T20I side of Pakistan, it's always about these two. Most of the time, 90% of the time, it's always about these two. So it was very important. And hats off to whoever. See, we know Mohammad Shami, how dangerous he is with the new ball in the IPL as well. In Gujarat Titans, we have seen wherever he has played, we have seen that he's very, very dangerous with the new ball in the power play. But still, Rohit Sharma preferred Arshdeep and Bhuvi to bowl the very first 5 overs without any break, because only the reason is because they get it both through in the air, movement through in the air and off the pitch. So that is one thing worked out for them, and the variations they got. Rizwan got out of bouncer. The ball was moving. The ball was flying from the fuller length. So it was a bit surprise for Rizwan to receive a bouncer of that caliber, and he got out. And we've seen Asia Cup also. We have seen that it was all about short balls, and Bhuvneshwar was also very, very good. It was like for the first 3 overs they couldn't touch the ball. It was as I heard you saying that you missed the first few overs. Let me tell you, they were not even touching the ball. Let it scoring runs को बाद में रखो आप. They were not even touching the ball. They can't play them just Nasir Hussain the way he said last year. So वही मेरे को मतलब मजा आया क्योंकि वो पता था actually वो bowling first करते तो that got the better of the Babar and Rizwan pair, and it was very important.
नहीं, क्योंकि अगर stats wise देखा जाए तो for Pakistan they're so highly dependent on these two players, and I know that Pakistani media and Pakistani hosts they've discussed this quite a few times कि यार the dependency on these two is way too high in T20s, and you can't expect that throughout your series, your tournaments, because you can't expect both of them to perform and get a century or a half century every single game and put up 70 odd runs in a chase or in a run down in the first innings. But well recovered, we'd say, in the middle overs by Shan Masood and Iftikhar Ahmed to both bring up a half century and play the game that they're naturally meant to. I mean, Shan, from what I remember, Iftikhar Ahmed really went after the ball right before he got out. Those three sixes, those 3-4 boundaries in one over. I think was it Akshar Patel that he hit. That was a bit of a scary moment. And other than that, I think Pakistan generally recovered well, because the way they started off, and India as well, I think both of them generally started off not as well. And I think by the 15th over, when they were about 97 or 100, वो लग रहा था कि यार 120 बन जाए बहुत है, 125 is a good target, but to go all the way up to 160 and to score about 40-50 runs in the last 5 overs was quite commendable, considering the bowling attack India had with Bhuvi and Arshdeep and coming from each end. So your quick thoughts on India on the death. We know that's something we've really struggled with, and then the amount of runs that we give in the 19th or the 18th over each game.
See, even if it was Shaheen, 90 over still the problem for India. I don't know what it is. In cricketing terms, it's just an over. It doesn't that over, but particularly in that over, India has been really struggling the penultimate over. But also, I want to add on about Shan Masood. He is coming in instead of Fakhar Zaman, who been, I think, injured. He missed this game, or I don't know. He's ruled out of the tournament. I'm not sure completely, but I don't think so that Fakhar Zaman would have survived the first new ball spells of the Indian bowlers. The way Shan Masood somehow survived, because against the movements the Indian bowlers were getting the short balls and all. I know I have observed. I don't know how many people will agree with me, but Fakazam has a problem with short balls. In Asia Cup as well, we got him of back of a length delivery. So Shan Masood did a great job. I think I saw Pakistan fans were not happy the way Shan Masood was starting, but it was him who held one end for them. Otherwise, 160 was far away from them. So, yeah, but the recovery was very good. It is a par score they reached after that two big overs. It was the par score around 90 or 100, around 13 or 14th over. They reached the par score. I was thinking that, okay, they reached the par score. Now they just need to finish it off. The first struggles, the early struggles doesn't count now because they have recovered. So that was very impressive from them. If the car counter attacked, he's good against both pace and spin. He hasn't got much of a chance to express himself because Nawaz also get things done. We have seen in the last couple of months in New Zealand or in Asia Cup. But Iftikhar did the job. But again, the death over struggle still continues for India. But we expect because it's a big win. It's a big win from now. Here we expect them to deliver with high confidence, to come out with high confidence to deliver in every department.
No, I completely agree on that. I think the death bowling is still something that India will still have to work on, and just giving up the runs that we've given in the final few overs I guess it just puts more pressure on the batsmen because when you're 120 in 17 overs as a batsman, you think, right, this is not a walk in the park because you've got a great bowling attack against Pakistan, but you go into the game going, well, 5 or 6 runs in over and we're going really good. Even if we get 4 runs in a few overs, that's perfectly fine. And considering that Pakistan's strength is bowling, जो उनकी bowling attack है, that is their strength. It's obvious that everyone knows Pakistan bowling is what they're I guess commended for. But when you see 160 on the board, फिर आपको दिखता है कि यार रऊफ के 4 ओवर हैं, शाहीन शाह के 4 ओवर हैं और नसीम शाह के 4 ओवर, then you kind of go, right, ये 12 ओवर हैं जिसमें we still have to try and get 8 or 9 runs in each of these overs to make sure we're par with the run rate at least. And then we can think about whether we want to go after Shadab and Iftikhar as the other spinner. So it is, if India didn't give that many runs, I think the chase wasn't going to be interesting. It would have been a game that they may have finished in the 15th, 16th over. And the only reason it went in deep is because firstly the openers, we'll talk about the lack of effort the openers are kind of putting into this team, and this is not just this World Cup. I think this is going on for the longest of times, and it's about time we make some changes in those positions if we really need to be serious about our opening pair. But yeah, overall Pakistan's batting was commendable after the start they had after the few early wickets with Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan both leaving. A funny story because I left home, I was watching with a few friends, so I was on the tube going to watch the match, and one of my friends said, well, Babar Azam's out, and then 2 minutes later he says, well, Rizwan's out as well. And I'm on the tube and I'm like, यार मैं जा क्यों रहा हूँ, मैं जब तक पहुंचूंगा पाकिस्तान की इनिंग्स खत्म हो जाएगी, and I don't want to see India chase down 50-60 runs. पता लगा it's one of those dead games. So commendable for Pakistan for what they did. But moving on to the spin options that we've got kind of playing right now. Akshar Patel, after that 1 over, I think Rohit Sharma didn't give him the chance to bring him on. Ravi Chandran Ashwin has come in, I guess because Jadeja is not there. How much are we affected by Jadeja not being there and us having to play Ashwin as an all-rounder and using him as a batting all-rounder, I guess, because I think Ashwin की जगह इस team में batting की वजह से ही थी, because we would not have gone with two I guess spinning all-rounders then, is it, if I'm not wrong? What are your thoughts on that?
So I guess Ashwin comes in because of that fear of Nawaz. The way Pakistan used Nawaz, that is one of the reasons Ashwin came in. And another thing I observed, Pakistan openers, both trump cards, Babar Azam and Rizwan, they doesn't goes much of against off spin. It's not a weakness, but they doesn't get carried away. I mean, they doesn't get away with the offense. So that is one of the reasons, and it was, in my opinion, it was a defensive move because Ashwin is not a kind of wicket taker nowadays. He has a phenomenal economy, but it cannot work. You see, he bowling economically, and Akshay Patel goes for 21 in 1 over. So that's not gonna help. But Akshay Patel playing Akshay Patel, I will still continue with Akshay Patel in the rest of the games because he is the only man who is giving somehow close to what Jadeja used to give to his team, or he will still give in the future. But I would like to see Chahal back because we need an attacking option. If okay, we have 4 pacers, including Hardik Pandya. That is a big plus. Hardik Pandya in bowling was phenomenal today, but Ashwin addition seems to me a bit defensive just to stop Nawaz, I guess. So I don't think so that if India should continue with Ashwin. It has nothing to do with the batting, although his last run was very crucial. But I think it doesn't have anything to do with batting.
अच्छा, आई वुड हैव थॉट अश्विन को बैटिंग के जैसे रखा होगा, क्योंकि मुझे पहली बात तो मुझे लगा कि अश्विन टीम में रखा क्यों है, लाइक एज इन प्लेइंग 11 में स्क्वाड में समझ में आता है बिकॉज यू नीड रिप्लेसमेंट्स, यू नीड टू मेक श्योर यू गॉट बैकअप्स टू प्लेयर्स, बट मुझे लगा था कि दे माइट गो फॉर डीके एंड पंत बोथ बिकॉज दे माइट गो एंड से यार वी नीड टू बैट डीप, और we know India's history, and today as well we lost early wickets, 40 for 4th, 30 for 4th actually, 35 for 4th. So knowing India's history, I would have thought कि यार Rohit Sharma would have gone for another batsman and gone कि यार Pant भी होगा तो maybe we can promote him up the order अगर early wickets fall होते, tell him कि यार just play a normal slow game, take those singles, run down those overs and just give some chance to Kohli or someone else to attack on the other end, and you don't do anything, you leave, because Pant in T20s has been horrific, I guess, right now in terms of his form. But moving on to India's batting, I think that's the spectacle that we saw today from India. Still a lot of issues in the opening areas. KL Rahul, as one of my friends said, ये बंदा out होने के मौके ढूंढ रहा है और वो he's trying to figure out how's the worst way to get out. Because आज वो बॉल कोई ऐसी भी नहीं थी जिसमें आउट होना चाहिए था, और वो बॉटम एज लगने के बाद वो बॉल जानी भी नहीं चाहिए थी विकेट तक. तो केएल राहुल को बस बहाने चाहिए आउट होने के, टेक्निकली is what a lot of people are saying right now. That amazing, I guess those great matches leading up to the World Cup, all lost in vain because we're seeing the same KL Rahul we saw in the Asia Cup. We're seeing the same KL Rahul we saw in the T20 World Cup last year. Your thoughts on KL Rahul and whether Virat Kohli should be promoted up the order, because Virat Kohli as an opener has an incredible stats that I guess a lot of Indian fans are not aware of.
I guess you have to name his partner as well. The captain himself has been, I will not say on and off, but completely off in T20 World Cup. He has played. He has played all the T20 World Cup for India. So it's been very very rare. I don't remember. I was like West Indies last time he played a good knock in West Indies 2010. So that is a long time now. So he need to get on as well as a captain himself, and even in the in the last World Cup, he gone out for the Golden Duck against Shaheen Shah Afridi. And today, I was expecting him or at least KL to score more. Even if it was not 160, let me tell you, if it was not 160, if it was 120, I guarantee you this opening partner would have scored 100 runs at least. So I don't know what it what it has to do with the target, or I just don't feel. But the initial overs, Shaheen Shah Afridi was not looking at all good. He's not looking fit. He didn't got any movement. All the in-swinging deliveries he was trying, it was full toss. The very first ball, which just didn't carry to Shaheen Shah, KL Rahul. And also against Rohit, he tried to bring the ball in, but it turned out to be a full toss. So he tried to go a bit outside, but it was absolutely flat when Pakistan started bowling. So India gave too much respect in the very first few overs, so that costed them. Yeah, but see, let KL Rahul is coming with some form in this match. He was coming with some form in this game. I was expecting him to deliver this time, but okay, let's move on. We can't do it anything right now. We just hope he deliver in the rest of the games or any important games we have in the coming next 2 weeks.
Now, the part where you said about Shaheen and India giving so much respect, I think a lot of commentators pointed out as well on ESPN as well. There were some reports that वो एक mental block है India का कि यार Shaheen is the guy you don't hit, you just defend. And even though today his line and length wasn't the Shaheen that we know, and I'm gonna take a snippet from you might be able to hear the thunderstorms background, but I hope I can edit those out. But yeah, just a bit of a snippet from ESPN, and when they said India have given unnecessary respect to Shaheen today, he has bowled nowhere close to what his figures suggest today. That's the impact he has left in the minds of Indian batters 1 year after that match, which is exactly the point that you made. I guess Shaheen was the guy. They've been probably trained and said, yeah, don't go after Shaheen, go after everyone else, just play out his 4 overs. And even though today he was there was a lot of respect for him in the first few overs. In the end, I think Kohli and Pandey had enough, and the last or the second last over was it, or the last over where he got hit for about 22. So he wasn't also he wasn't also in form, and obviously you don't expect a player who's been injured for so long, hasn't played a lot of games. This is his first game. I can't remember if he was part of any of the games or maybe the warm up games he might have played. So his first real test back, and Shaheen Shah, we know the skill that he has. So I'm not going to write him off for the tournament. He's still going to be someone who's going to be picking up wickets and getting Pakistan into that top 4 position for that semi-final. But Rohit Sharma as well, a bit disappointed from him. He didn't take as a captain. I guess he's. I'm trying to think of the right word to say before I get attacked on Twitter. He is someone who wants to lead from the front, but I guess we've gotten so used to Kohli being so aggressive and being the face of Indian cricket for so long that Rohit Sharma just sits in the line in the background, just lets everything happen, and he gets a bit reactionary at times. वो कभी कभार कोई मिसफील्ड होती है या even if there's a proper shot that's being played, he gets quite reactionary और उसका reaction देखना होता है, which yes, but after a time, bowler, fielder, other players start getting agitated by that because in all honesty, they think in a 20-over game you can't blame someone on a single ball. It's a 20-over game. Consistency is zaruri hai, whether it's throughout the 20 overs, not just in that 1 over. So, and in terms of his batting, honestly, I just really hope because his record in Australia is really good. He's got a few centuries, I think, in test matches. So obviously that's a bit of a different story. But in T20s as well, he's got a very good record in Australia. And now we've got a few games against, I guess, the associate teams as well. Netherlands next, and then against Afghanistan we play. Or is it Bangladesh we play? So it's the perfect time for Rohit Sharma to, I guess, change around a little bit, figure out what he wants to do with himself in the batting stance because he's the opener we want. He's the opener. I think we might look at. I think what we should look at is maybe replacing KL Rahul with Kohli. Kohli has an average of around 83 when he opens. He's got that century obviously against Afghanistan when he opened, but Kohli is someone I really want to see opening in this World Cup. He loves Australian pitches, whether it's T20s, ODIs, or Test matches. He's got records everywhere against every single team. So if he can do what he does at number 3, bring him on at the top, let him face these fast bowlers. Because realistically, yes, Netherlands against we might, we could win. We can win against Bangladesh, but वो semi-final जब आएगा Australia के against या England के against या New Zealand के against, depending on who qualifies, India might struggle. India will struggle because even today it wasn't an easy victory. We had to fight every single over. Whether it was Shaheen, whether it was Naseem, whether it was Shadab, even Shadab, we weren't able to hit very hard. So it's about India finding that consistency and going for players who are informed, then going for the names or going for the big names that have been in Indian cricket for a while. So for me, that test of Kohli coming in ahead of KL Rahul, or maybe KL Rahul being dropped, Pant bringing Pant in, promoting Surya 1 up, going at number 3, giving him some more time to come in and settle in and do his job. Because Surya also he can hit you out of the park. He's an explosive batsman. So India के पास talent की कमी नहीं है, बस वो एक combination नहीं मिल पा रहा है. बस I guess is what India is looking for. But overall, A great match to watch, great enjoyment for both fans, India, Pakistan in the end. Just going down the wire, and at one point लग रहा था सुपर ओवर हो जाएगा, और अगर वो वाइड नहीं होती तो शायद हो भी जाता सुपर ओवर. फिर वो एक अलग ही मजा आता, that repeat of that early 2000s match जो ball out जिसमें हुआ था. India won 3-0 in that. But Kaushik, so far the World Cup, Australia losing to New Zealand, England winning convincingly against Afghanistan, Sri Lanka winning against Ireland today in the morning before the India-Pakistan match. So it's going to be an interesting one. But how are you feeling about this World Cup in terms of India's chances, as well as, I guess, who might be your favorites this year?
See, India plays T20 well in Australia. So even though their recent multinational tournament form is not going in their favor, but it is Australia, and I expect because you see Virat is also scoring runs now. About opening Virat, yeah, that's a very he can do it. He can do it. He have done it so many times, even with his IPL teams. So he can do it, but I don't think अभी last moment भी change करेंगे वो लोग. And see, KL in the middle order is also very, very interesting choice, because you take him out of that new ball thing against the new ball. If he's facing the new ball, which I don't think so he should, because he's technically so sound and he dominates so well. He dominates the bowlers completely when he decides to go on. So that is one thing, but I don't see it is happening. I think Virat will be very important at 3. Considering everything in Australia, the condition, the dimensions of the ground and everything. And बाकी अभी expectations थोड़ी सी high हो जाएगी लोगों की, but let's keep ourselves grounded, because it's Perth against South Africa. It's a very big game. If I'm not wrong, it's Perth. Okay, if I'm not wrong, the venue is Perth.
Yes.
So yeah, that's a very, very big game in that venue. And we can't afford to lose any of the games against this 3, Netherlands, Bangladesh and all. So expectation will be very high, because especially me, last year only I said India will play final when they got knocked over.
I think we all said that, because लगा था कि यार beat तो कर ही सकते हैं पाकिस्तान को.
No, that's not what I meant. When they got knocked over from the group stage last year,
yeah,
when the tournament was not even finished, then only I said next year India will be in the final.
Okay.
In Australia. So that one thing you might getting what's my expectation right now, because it's Australia. Our players, our batters, our bowlers, players. Why Shami is coming? Shami otherwise shouldn't have come. It's only because it's Australia. That is why he's coming in the squad. Otherwise, he
but the
shouldn't
reason
have come.
I think why I wouldn't use Shami as an example here is because Shami was someone who wasn't selected in the first place. It was just because of injuries he got in. India's first choice wasn't Shami.
No, it was Australia. It is Australia. That is why you can afford to have Shami without even playing.
No, but you would if Shami was that good, you would have him before I guess in the original squad, not after injury, because Shami was added after Bumrah was
yeah,
injured.
so that is means they decided to go to Shami. They didn't look any best option,
no doubt.
They were like dependent on Bumrah. Bumrah will come.
No doubt, Arshdeep was a great pick for India, and I take my words back from the last podcast where I said that Arshdeep hasn't got the experience, but today he really proved himself against Pakistan. But you need to have Shami and Bumrah. Even when Bumrah comes back, I'd still have Shami, Bumrah, and Arshdeep in that playing 11. Bhuvi, maybe give him some rest, because we've seen he hasn't been as effective, because Bhuvi is someone India used to use in the death, and his death bowling was incredible. That 19th over,
it was even better than Bumrah.
Yeah, when he used to bowl those 17th and 19th overs, it used to be like 1 or 2 runs that over. So it used to neutralize whatever we've been hit for in the middle overs or towards the middle overs. But yeah, Bhuvi needs to really collect himself together and make sure he knows what he's doing, because games are only going to get tougher. We've got Netherlands, Bangladesh, a few more games to go before it's confirmed that we'll be in the semi-finals, and even in the semi-finals, it won't be an easy task against any of the teams from Group A. And I won't write off Sri Lanka as well from that group, because I think Sri Lanka's in their group, so I wouldn't write off Sri Lanka as well, because they can cause some issues, and we saw it. No one had any thoughts on Sri Lanka for the Asia Cup, and no one thought, Sri Lanka is in the team that's going to get it. It's either India or Pakistan, and it ended up being them, and they did it in incredible fashion, going against the odds, not chasing. They defended a target in the final. So one of the great matches in Dubai to watch as well towards the end of the Asia Cup. But Kaushik, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for coming on the podcast. Really appreciate all of your all your time that you given, and the stats and everything that you've shared with us. To everyone watching, make sure to follow Kaushik on all of the social media pages. We'll link in the description below. Make sure to subscribe to our channel. Make sure to like our videos, or make sure to follow us on our social media pages. Latest news, latest updates, सब कुछ मिलेंगे आपको Twitter में, Instagram में, any social media. So Kaushik, thank you very much once again, and we'll see you guys next time. Until then, stay safe.